3 HOA thugs punched my wife on our own property. They thought I was just a quiet guy mowing lawns. What they didn't know, I'm a combat veteran and I don't play games when it comes to family. Where are you watching from? Drop your state and country in the comments. Let's see who stands against bullies like this. We bought this house 3 years ago. Corner lot, double garage, neat hedges, nothing fancy, but it felt like home. My wife Lena had always wanted a place she could garden and relax in peace. We picked this street because it was quiet, respectful, a neighborhood where people waved but kept to themselves. I'm not the type who brags about my service. I did 12 years infantry and left with my fair share of stories, injuries, and medals, but I didn't bring any of that into civilian life. I just wanted peace. So did Lena. The HOA was mild at first. Monthly emails, friendly guidelines, the usual. Then Rick Thompson got elected as the new HOA president, a guy with more ego than authority. Suddenly, we had new rules, surprise inspections, and worst of all, enforcers. These weren't security guards. These were 3 clowns in matching polos, walking around like they were Navy SEALs. I caught them peeking through fences, snapping pictures of trash cans, even checking mailboxes. It was harassment, plain and simple. Still, we kept to ourselves until that morning. I was on a Zoom call when I heard yelling outside. I stepped onto the porch and froze. Lena was in the driveway, backed up against our car, surrounded by the 3 goons. One had a clipboard, another was waving some kind of HOA pamphlet in her face. The third one was already getting too close. Something about hanging baskets being a safety violation. Lena was confused, asking questions. They didn't like that. Then it happened. One of them shoved her, not hard, but enough to make her stumble. I saw her eyes, shocked, hurt. I dropped my phone, and I walked down that porch like I was back in Fallujah. Sir, back away from the scene. One of them barked, trying to play cop. Scene, buddy, you just made one. Wrong wife, wrong driveway, wrong damn veteran. I didn't raise my voice, didn't posture, just walked right up to them, calm and focused. Step away from my wife, I said, quiet but solid. The clipboard guy chuckled, acting tough. Sir, this is official HOA enforcement. She was uncooperative. And before he finished that sentence, I caught his wrist mid-gesture and twisted just enough to make him drop the clipboard. He yelled. The second guy stepped in, big chest, puffed up ego. You just assaulted an HOA officer. That was the last thing he said before my elbow met his chin. He dropped like a bag of tools. Lena screamed my name, not out of fear, but as a warning. The third guy was behind me, swinging. I ducked, pivoted, and drove my knee into his ribs. He collapsed, gasping for air like a fish out of water. These weren't trained men. They were neighborhood punks playing dress-up. 2 of them groaned on the ground. The one still standing stumbled back and pulled out his phone. I'm calling the police. I smiled. Good, I've been waiting for this moment. You see, I'd already filed 2 written complaints about these guys harassing neighbors, especially women home alone. Nobody did anything. Rick, the HOA president, laughed it off when I brought it up, but I had video security footage. Lena had turned on the driveway camera that morning. The officer who arrived was Officer Janovitz. She and I trained together back when she was just a private. She got out of the squad car, saw me, then saw the 3 grown men moaning on my driveway. I nodded, she nodded back. Want to tell me what happened? She asked. Lena showed her the footage. Clear audio, clean angle, the push, the intimidation, my response. Officer Janovitz took her time, asked a few questions, then turned to the guy still conscious and said, You just assaulted a civilian on private property and then got folded like laundry by a veteran in self-defense. You want to press charges. His face crumpled. Rick Thompson, the HOA president, pulled up just as the cuffs went on. He stormed out of his car, barking, This is HOA business. Janovitz didn't even blink. No, sir. This is now a criminal investigation. I looked at Rick and said, You send men to touch my wife again, and I'll file federal. The story spread faster than fire in dry brush. By sunset, someone had posted the driveway footage to the local neighborhood forum. The title, HOA thugs beat veteran's wife, got folded by her husband. Comments exploded. People who'd kept quiet about HOA harassment started sharing their own stories. Turns out these enforcers had bullied half the street, issuing fake fines. barging onto lawns, even threatening elderly residents for code violations. Rick Thompson, the HOA president, tried to save face. He released a sloppy statement: "We regret the misunderstanding and the HOA will cooperate with police." Didn't work. The next morning, 2 of the 3 men were served restraining orders. The third, the one who punched Lena, was officially charged with assault. The police reported the footage, and I made sure to include my own written account calmly and clearly. No drama, just facts. Meanwhile, I filed a civil suit. Trespassing, harassment, assault, emotional distress. We weren't after money. We wanted the truth on record. Rick panicked, called an emergency HOA meeting. I didn't attend, but Lena did. She walked in with Officer Janovitz at her side, and a folder full of printed testimonies from neighbors who'd been harassed over the past year. When she read out loud what they'd done to a single mom down the street, threatening to fine her for having a stroller on her porch, people stood up, shouted, demanded resignations. Rick resigned on the spot. The HOA board disbanded temporarily and turned over financials to a county auditor. Guess what? Dozens of enforcement fines had gone missing. No records, just cash. That night, as Lena and I sat on the porch sipping tea, she looked over and smiled. "You didn't even break a sweat. I told you," I said. "I may mow lawns now, but I'm still that guy when I have to be." 2 days later, the guy who swung on me came by limping with a handwritten apology. I took it, said nothing. Lena burned it in the fire pit that evening. If you've ever had to stand your ground against an out-of-control HOA, tell your story below. I read all the comments.